Hey guys, right on time. The football just finished. Man City won 3-4-1. And today we are looking at our signal strength. I was watching a couple of videos on drones and stuff last night. And although they advertise like huge distances for signal, that doesn't actually seem to be the case. Oh, in vivo. So, apparently the signal strength isn't as... I mean, the Mavic's got something like... It can go to 6,000 metre altitude, apparently. Which is about 4 miles. But the transmission strength is going to have to be another indicator for us. So we're going to have to update the distance between our... basically our start position and, well, wherever we're transmitting from. So a takeoff point, let's say, and wherever the drone is in relation to that. So we're going to have to calculate that as well, which ain't a big deal. The difference with that is it ain't going to be a 2D distance, it's going to be over the full, it's going to take altitude or the Z into consideration. And also last night we brought in a couple of assets to have a look at. One of them has embedded in it SpeedTree, which I've never really used before, or if I have, it was a while ago when I used it in Unity, I think, like 4 or 5 years ago. So we're going to have to have a look at those. So it's basically some sort of warehouse industrial type area, and so we're going to build that out, because what we want to do is we want to fly about and we want to see what buildings look like and the scale we need, etc, etc, in comparison to our drone and stuff. So we're going to have a look at that. As you can see, it's doing some shaders here now. Let's have a look at what we have here. I don't know where this is. Could be under here. Nope, not under there. It's not in the explosions, it's hangar, I believe. Right, so this is giving us anti-tank type things. We have buildings, which is kinda nice. What else do we have? We've got the hangars. Now, one of the things I was going to do is we had a train yard as well. We've got paper, debris, trash boxes, train boxcars, wooden pallet. We're going to go back up here and we're going to check on the building and see how big it is. Alright, so let's say we had the start of some kind of civilization over here. Now that's not awfully big. I suppose it's not that bad though. We'll go in and have a look. Has it got an opening? Yeah, indeed it has. And it's doing the shaders here as per usual. Nothing surprising there. Right. So, got 24 shaders to do. And what we really want to do here is, while we're waiting on those shaders to go, right, we've got our drone. Right. Let's add a variable and we'll call it start position. It's going to be a vector. And then I'm going to minimize that a bit. And then we'll go into our pawn drone. Okay. Hopefully this won't take too long. Right. So once we've done that, and once we've done all that, in fact we should do it before this, right? So we'll get world location. That'll do. We could have just got get actor location, right? And then we'll get the attributes. Okay, it's not the attributes, it's the drone settings. We shall break that. Right. And actually, we shall not do that. we shall set members, and it's just going to be the start position. That's going to go in there, that's going to go in there. We're going to drag that out a bit. We're going to do that, set it. That's going to go in there. That's going to go there. That's going to go there. And our struct out is going to go in there. Okay, so that's us ready to do our signal strength. Okay, so we'll update altitude, and what we'll do, we'll see, and signal. Hi George Sepitadalus, how are you doing? So we're going to do update altitude and signal, right? Which means that we need to update this function, right? So we're going to say and signal, and we'll see what this is doing here. We're setting the members in the drone, which is fine. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a variable here, and we'll call it signal strength, and that's going to be a float. We could put this in the drone settings, we'll work it out. We'll work it out later. So we're going to get actor location. I tend not to look too often at new things, right? Because if you do, you'll be forever just looking at new things. Most likely it is pretty similar to the old input system, because these things are usually not earth-shatteringly different, so they're iterations on the current model. So yeah, I haven't seen it. I think I've looked at the Lyra thing once, you know, but the thing about it is that the Lyra thing doesn't help you if you don't know the basics, right? You'll just be constantly confused about what's actually going on, right? So we're going to do a distance vector, and we are not updating start position, but what we are going to do is set our signal strength there's just a lot of things, George, that kind of don't work sometimes. Like, I tried to get the what is it called again? the skills tree thing working, and basically it just wouldn't work. Right, I couldn't add it to the project I just couldn't get it to work. So, as I said, I tend to wait till these things have been out for a while before I look at them. Because up until that time, you're potentially playing with fire. And something that could get changed at any time. Not that I'm knocking it, it's probably good. I dare say it'll be good, but not for me at the moment. Alright, we'll hide the unconnected here. Then we can basically set this up. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to get this thing. Right, and we're going to do an update signal, most likely. Yeah, I think the final answer to that one, George, is I'll only look at things when I need them. Otherwise, usually what I currently use is perfectly workable, right? So I don't incorporate new systems just for the hell of it. So I hope that kind of gives you my outlook on it. Right, so we're doing a save and then we're going to fly. Oh yeah, we've got to update that explosion thing as well, haven't we? We were kind of doing that last night, but we were having horrible kind of okay, there's somebody saying chat isn't working. Or is it I haven't? No, I've turned my mic on. Seems to be working. Somebody messaged me saying the chat wasn't working, but it seems to be working okay. Right, anyway. Maybe it was just when it started or something, there was something weird going on. Right, let's press play all shaders again. Oh, you're writing something, George, are you? As I said, tell me your take on it. I mean, as I said, I tend to be a couple of versions behind because, as I said, normally I'm working on something and I ain't going to implement new systems just for the sake of, because they're new systems. I may move over to them in future projects or whatever to have a look at them, but I don't just look at them to look at them. It's just not the way I do it. As I said, not saying it's right or wrong. Just, excuse me, frog in my throat. Right, so type away, George, because I'm stuck on shaders here. Right. So I think the building was down. So our building, where is our building? Where's the building? Where'd they put the building? And why are we not descending? I'm guessing there's something happened in our update signally thing. Right? Right, so we're going to grab that. Right, I think what we've done is we've stopped it doing this. Right, so what we'll do is we'll do that. We'll copy that. Put that in there. Compile that. Yeah, the problem with updating is if you've got to move a load of models, a lot of static meshes, and I ended up doing an editor widget for it that I created an exporter and an importer for it, so it wouldn't be such a horrible thing to have to do. Right. Right, is this going to work this time? Apparently not. Why is our... Let's have a look here. There's something strange going on here. Sometimes like doing it, sometimes it's a bit of a chore, has to be said. Depends what you're working on, really. Right, so it's not running. It's not running that. It's not running that, that would explain a lot. Which would kind of mean that this part's not running right. Right? Right, so we've got drone settings, okay? We've got start position at 0, 0, 0, which it should be at this point. you can see here that we've got a big number there, which is kind of what we want. We're going to step over there, so that's okay. So now this should be basically the same, but it should have that number in it, which is correct. Right, and then this should start looping. Which would mean that it's failing somewhere here. You see, that isn't running. What the heck? I'm just going to call this update signals. In fact, we'll call it update drone signals. Right? We're going to go in here. And we'll say drone signals. Right. So we've got our breakpoint here. Right. And we should have our breakpoint here. Right. So that's okay. And there we go, it starts this time. Weird. Oh, well, good to see you in the Discord then, George. If you've got any questions in there or whatever, feel free. Right, so we've got our 4.5 meters, okay? So the next thing we need is to make basically get what do you call it? Is to make like a signal thing, but we're not going to do that for now. What we're going to do is, there's our building over there, right, and it's facing in the exact opposite direction. No, not actually exact opposite direction, kind of to the right. Okay, so what we're going to do, we don't need this anymore because we've got that and that's fine. And resume that. Why has this got a breakpoint on it now? Why has this got a sodden breakpoint? Right. So if we move forward, and in theory where's the bleeding building? Where did the bleeding building go? Right, it's at the end of a row of trees, right? Oops. So where in the dang nabbit is there trees? Right, I'm better if I just point our drone in the right direction. I think. Right, I should be flying straight over our soldiers. That's the point here. Right, so in theory the building is down here. Where's the goddamn building? Apparently that's not where the building is. So I can only assume that the building's over here. Right, hang on. Right, this is silly. I mean, it's not really, but right. In theory, the building should be here. Am I hallucinating or something? Am I missing some incredible... you know what it might be? I'll bet you. I'll bet you it's falling through the floor. Right, the best idea here is for me to actually place it right in front of our camera, right, and then we know exactly where it is, right, and then we can, once we get this sorted out, we can move it, right. So basically what we'll do is we'll stick it just in here. Now I'm going to have to go for an early break, guys, because I really need to go to the toilet. So don't go anywhere, I shall be back in a couple of minutes. Alright guys, we're back. So, we basically put our camera, our building over beside our thing. Right? And yeah. So let's have a look to see what it is. So it should be right in front of us. Right, so where did it go? Alright, I'm guessing it's basically still falling. Well, it's probably hit the Z kill value by now. Right now, our in theory that's interesting. Right now, there's our artillery is right in front of us, which it is. Right, our building appears to be inside a blocking mesh. Is this going to be one of these things that are an absolute pain in the neck? Right, I'm going to put it up a bit. Right. Now, that's weird. That building did not fall. It's just not there, apparently. Is it for some reason hidden in the game? I can't see it. Not hidden in the game. So what the hell? Right, okay. Well, if you're going to do that, right, what I'll do is let's select our artillery and press play. Where is our building? That is bizarre. because this is it here, right? We'll do that just for a laugh to start with, right? But we are going to have to do something there. Right, but for some reason our building is simply not there. Okay, right, so that's probably not going to be clear enough as a thing, so I'm going to put this in. Right, and we'll make it big. Then we'll press play. Right, so that's weird. That is bizarre. Hi, Cat Eats Chips. Right, so the only thing that I can actually think it's doing is possibly because, and I'm not buying it by the way, is because it was in a blocking thing. That appears to be the case. So you cannot put stuff in a blocking volume, right? But in Unreal Engine 4 you had like a it wasn't a blocking volume per se, it was a nav blocking volume, right? So okay, but that looks actually okay the way it's working there, but we need to have a little think about the nav blocks. Basically, but it is working properly. And this is at kind of a weird angle. Right, but anyway. Right, we're going to do something else here. We're going to do project settings. Then we're going to go to input. I'm going to switch these down a bit. And move up to move. That's rotate. Then this is going to be basically strafe left. Right, and that's going to be A. And then we're going to have another one which is going to be strafe right. And that is going to be D. Close that. Right. And we're going to go into our, because at the moment, right, we can rotate, we can move forward, move backward, right? So we can go up once we get this running. We can go down, we can rotate, we can go forward, right, and back way, but we cannot go like to the left and to the right. So that will be the final thing that we need to do as far as movement goes. So this is going to be in main BPs on our controller. Right. So let's have a look at that. And we're going to be doing movement. And let's delete that. Let's make that a bit bigger. Right, so that's move up and move down. Right. That's move forward and backward. Right. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to copy that, basically, or rather we're going to copy this part, we're going to duplicate it, right, we're going to delete this, Then we're going to go strafe left and strafe right. Now, if I get this right, it'll be, apart from it going to be great, it'll be a miracle. So we'll plug them in, right? But it won't be the forward vector. It's going to be the right vector. And I'm going to have to say here, right, get actor right vector. And same here. Get actor right vector. And I believe, we might get this the wrong way round, but we'll try it anyway, because we're kind of mental that way, is we'll do project settings, input, and strafe left is going to be minus. Okay. Let's try it, shall we? So we can go up, forward, right, left. How's about that then, guys? Right. So what we could do here, right, is we have our drone, right? And basically what we could do is we could do like a I'll describe what I'm talking about here. Now you don't see this from drone footage because normally the camera doesn't show the drone, right? Like in our simulation, which makes our simulation better, of course, right? But what I'm saying is, for up and down, it's not really going to do anything, right? And for rotating, the same thing, right? But when we move like forward, what we should do is drop the nose down, right? But what we're going to have to watch here is that we still look straight ahead, right? So basically the idea here is to drop the nose down when we move forward. Then when we move or when we strafe left, right, it's easier for me to show you if we are next to right, if we get down, right, and we move towards some trees, right, so if we actually move strafe to the right, and what basically our combat drone should do is, if we're going to the side, you'll notice that our height is going to go under. So what we need to do is make sure that we automatically compensate for that. Okay. Let's move back a bit. Let's go up a bit. And right, so we want it to push you up, right, to 0.8 meters. Okay, so this is the thing that's getting our world location stuff. Right? And basically what we want it to do is this trace what we'll do is I didn't want to do that. I want a temporary variable for this. Right, so we'll do a temp hit, right, and this is going to be a hit result. Okay, and we'll set it here. And we'll do a route hit there. Okay. And because this is so important, we might have to stick this in tick. Right, we'll have to wait and see, but 0.1 might do it anyway. Right, so let's just work on an equation to work this out. So we're going to get the temp hit, right, and we're going to break that. And Now, are we using the location or the other one? We're using location, that's fine. Right? So, we're going to break our location vector because we're only interested in the Z, remember. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to get actor location, right? And we're going to do that, right? So we're going to break this as well. Right? We're going to say that minus that and that gives us the current altitude, right? And if that is less than 0.8, actually, I think it's 800, isn't it? Because we divide this number in the end when we do this update altitude. If we have a look at this, we'll see. But I'm pretty sure we divide it by 100, and that gives us our number in meters. So we're working in centimeters, okay? At the moment. So this is going to be 800. And then we're going to branch now. What we really want to do, well, we can do this like this for now, right? But we can do this much more efficiently because we're already calculating this out. So we can basically use this better. But we're doing this anyway. Then we're going to we're going to set the location, set actor location, right? And we're going to lerp actually we're not going to lerp that, we're going to lerp vector. Let's go back to here. what we're going to do is this. So we're actually not going to lerp a vector. We're going to just get the height. Right? So we're going to do that. And we're going to split this. We're going to go into true there. That's going to go into Z. Right. Then we're going to get this hit Z. And we're going to add I believe it might just be 8, but we're going with 800. The target is going to be that. The current is going to be that. Then our X is going to be that, and our Y is going to be that. Right? So in theory, if our ground goes up, our drone should go up with it. Right, so if we go forward, right, and then you'll notice okay. Right. If I move forward, see it's pushing us up, right? So this should not be 800. This should be 8. When we do the distance, it's calculated in centimetres. When we do the units on the map, it's done in metres, right? So this should just be 8. But it was pushing us up. Okay? So if I press play, it's basically going to keep us at a minimum height. Okay. Oh, that's not quite right. Ah, this might not be 800. If that is 8, then that should be the same. Right. Let's try that. If this doesn't work, we'll start outputting some numbers so that we can see the actual numbers. Right. You can see we're at the right height there. We can spin round. We're getting lower. Oops. Right. We're down to 6 meters. And that did not push us up. And now we're actually going down. Now, has that pushed us right up into the air? It looks as if it's pushed us right up into the air. Right, you see that? Right. So what we're going to do is, rather than force our thing to move, right, what we're going to do is just print some stuff off. Right, so we're not going to move this for now. Okay. So what we want to do is do a print string here. Print string. Okay. And we shall stick it in here. And we'll leave it at that. We don't need to run this branch. But what we really want to know is this number here. Right? We want to know what the number is. Right, so at this point we are at point, okay, we're going to escape that, right? So we're looking at if it's less than 80. Okay. And we're getting the hit vector, and we should be adding 80. Right? So let's see how that goes. Right. I don't know why at certain heights right, so it's not letting us go down. And you can see that right, okay. So it looks like we need to basically fire this up point. So 60 frames a second is 0.02-ish. let's see. We can throw this on event tick. Probably want to put it on event tick, to be fair. You can see it pushing us up. So it's not crashing, there you go. So we now have automatic evasion. It's not going to go through the ground. Okay. And it's going to keep itself above the ground where it can. So that is a result, I would say. It doesn't go into the ground, and as I said, we automatically do not go into the ground. Okay. So I think we're going to call it there. We've learned a bit about the blocking volumes, and the blocking volumes block everything rather than just a nav mesh blocking volume. So we need to find out what that is. We've stopped the drone going under the ground. We have set it to strafe left and right. So I will probably be back tonight, 8 PM. So you can join me then. Thank you guys for watching. If you've enjoyed it, hit like and subscribe, and check out the description for links to Discord, Patreon, previous game on Steam, and various other things. So thank you guys again for watching.